is Tim gay?
He must be gay, he's a hairdresser.
Julia Gillard quizzed about her partner's sexuality.
That's how Kochie promoted it on 7 Sunrise. Is Tim gay? Not shock jock madness. Welcome to Media Watch. I'm Jonathan Holmes, and I can't remember a nastier, grubbier week in the nation's politics. Howard Sattler, the star of the West, has now been sacked by Fairfax Media's 6PR in Perth.
Yeah, but you hear it. He must be gay, he's a hairdresser.
Oh, well, isn't that...
You've heard it.
But,
it's not me saying it, it's what people...
But of course it was Howard Sattler saying it. David Koch couldn't see what the fuss was about.
Let me play devil's advocate here.
So you don't think he did then? You think
No,
it was fine?
Listen to me, and I'll say, what's the difference between asking the Prime Minister that and say, Thorpe?
Remind me if I want an advocate not to hire Kochie. In the dark of the night, over on Sydney's 2GB, the extraordinary Brian Wilshire groped his way through his normal conspiratorial fog to shine a light for us.
Ask embarrassing questions of the Prime Minister, the questions that aren't really relevant except for something that the media won't tell you. If you're a butterfly collector, whatever it might be that you might want to keep secret from the public if you're in the public eye, that's something the public should know. Because once they know about it, nobody can blackmail you about it.
Butterfly collecting? Blackmail? Completely batty. Meanwhile, Alan Jones keeps ranting.
This is a misanthrope, this woman. This is a woman who plainly hates Rudd, hates Abbott, and hates men. Anyone visiting the country would believe this was a person who is seriously in need of emotional and psychological help.
One thing you can be sure of. Nobody will get the sack from Macquarie Radio for being rude to the Prime Minister. This Prime Minister, anyway. And some curious decisions were taken at ABC News yesterday. The Howard Sattler episode was discussed on Sunday morning's Insiders programme. News Limited columnist Piers Ackerman condemned Sattler's behaviour as
probably the most stupid thing that I've ever heard on public broadcasting.
But he then told The Guardian Australia's Lenore Taylor,
a lot of people in the Canberra Gallery have been saying the same thing, Lenore.
No.
You've never heard that?
No.
Oh.
News Limited's Malcolm Farr had never heard anyone saying such things either. And Barry Cassidy was scathing.
You've just done precisely what Howard Sattler did and just passed on rumours, and that's just as pathetic, quite frankly.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it is. All right, let's talk about the leadership
I don't
now.
think I did pass on rumours.
Yes, you did. You just did.
And they went on arguing for another 15 seconds or so. Soon after the programme ended, the entire exchange was posted by the ABC's online news team on its YouTube account. After all, it was the most controversial thing on the programme that day. But then, within 10 minutes, the clip was taken down again. Twitter wondered why.
Suspect it's a copyright issue, posting before iView.
Maybe, but my money's on legal concerns.
Well, it wasn't a copyright issue. The ABC can't breach its own copyright. And it wasn't a legal issue because, in due course, the entire programme was relayed on News Radio and iView. It looks to us like a censorship issue. After all, while the Sydney Morning Herald ran a news story about the incident on its website,
News Limited columnist ignites sexuality outrage.
There was no mention of it that we could find on ABC Online. ABC News tells Media Watch,
that was a matter for the editorial team on the day, as is always the case. They were free to report it at all times.
But it says that YouTube is another matter. The clips posted there are promotions.
To draw attention to the programme contents.
The Insiders team asked for the clip to be taken down
because they didn't feel it was appropriate to be promoting that content.
Well, we've looked at the ABC's YouTube channel. It doesn't look like a promo site to us. It looks like news. As for Piers Ackerman, he came up with a sort of apology at the end of Insiders.
If the Prime Minister is watching, as she usually does, and I hope she hasn't taken any offence at anything I've said this morning.
Good on him.
But in this morning's column in the telly, Ackerman is back to his normal aggressive self.
The chattering classes whipped themselves into a lather yesterday afternoon, claiming I raised questions about first bloke Tim Matheson's sexuality on the ABC Insiders program in the morning.
Piers, this notion that you're not a member of the chattering classes is weird. That's how you make your living. Chattering, chattering, chattering. And then, in this case, denying what you've said.
I have never questioned Matheson's sexuality. I don't deal in tawdry topics.
That sounds to me just like Howard Sattler.
No, that's not me saying it, that's a myth.
Well, that's absurd.
And now let's leave the increasingly tawdry world